Suresh is running a really fascinating and inspiring initiative called Sarjapur Curries. Suresh is an artist, and so I requested him to maybe talk a bit about what they're doing at Sarjapur Curries. Some of you from Bangalore might already know about Sarjapur Curries, but many of us who are out from outside Bangalore might not. So, over to you.
Thank you. I would not go because we are already late. Food is just arrived, fresh, hot, and straight from the farm. Okay. And thing is, Sarjapura Curries is there everywhere on internet. People can get into it, dig into it. We are kind of on Instagram, but frozen from last 3 years post-COVID. But there's enough archive to go through it. And what else I can say? We have many feathers in this project called Sarjapura Curries. Initially, with a small grant from BSF, Bangalore Sustainable Forum, we started as a community kitchen garden, like an engagement in a village where I'm born, with working with women to revive, rethink about their backyards, kitchen gardens, and things like that. So the intention was to only to revive the knowledge which already exists, but the practice is not there. So initially, we ventured into kind of archiving. I'm talking about the pre-COVID. So initially, we archived all the edible, so-called edible weeds, like all the sopu, kire, and sags, which is like not, you don't see in the mainstream markets or people are not cultivating, but there's so much in the wild everywhere, even in the mediums in the city, to forage and eat, okay? But we will not eat here. But I mean, they survive. So we don't have to grow them. And also vegetables. And so initially we also started documenting the recipes from him and all that. And also my focus was to encourage this woman to, they're farmers, families, but they would really growing commercial crops like cabbage 1 acre, or tomatoes 1 acre, but they would not grow what they want for the homes. So, but women knew the knowledge and women had this. So we tried to rekindle, reinvent and telling us, don't imitate us, don't grow lawns, don't grow roses, please grow food and things like that, you know. So that's what we tried, and then COVID happened, and I saw plenty of people went back to their natives and went back to their native knowledge. So much happened on internet at the time, so I didn't bother to document and upload later on. So I thought, more than online, I want to really work with the real people around. So we kind of asked for a land, small piece of land to experiment. So like schools and universities all offered us, and finally I wanted to be among the farmers. For example, Azim Premji University is next to our farm now, but I didn't want to do it inside because it would be kind of a very protected space and people can't come in and go out and things like that. So we chose a proper farm, rented it out, struggled initially with me and my daughter, and because that was COVID times. And that whatever we started that time, no sales, just to revive and keep the seeds alive and knowledge alive, we started. And now today we are kind of a full-fledged 2.5 acre farms with some 20 cows and 20 goats. And 20 cows also are mostly adopted. So at the COVID time, a lot of people wanted to do organic farms, and then the opportunities opened up and they all wanted to abandon these animals. So most of them we adopted, all desi cows, but they are not in good shape. They don't give milk, but they give beautiful cow dung. So we make them work, we feed them in the fields, and we get the cow dung done, and that's it. And our staff are really mad about it because why are you keeping so many cows when they don't give milk? Okay, so I said no, dung, because I don't even trust the cow dung I get in the village, because of the kind of a monocropping and the non-native cows and all the drama, okay, and the kind of content they feed and all that. So we are more like we are not an NGO, or I still call it as an artist-run project, like a community art practice, what I claim, and I remain as an artist till now. And so we are almost on the verge of calling ourselves as social entrepreneurs, but not. So we are just escaping these tags. So we are everywhere. That's the thing. And today what you see is now, this is a new feather that we are also accepting catering, so-called catering. You know, I mean, it's curated food, but I like that to see it in even a commercially competitive way, that we would soon start an authentic Sarjapura Curries cloud kitchen or something like that. When we started this project, I never heard of this word called cloud kitchen. 6 years back, we were saying canteen chalayenge, canteen chalayenge. So now I have this fancy word called cloud kitchen. So we'll start with my relatives around, women around, and we're going to start. So today, all my nephews and my aunts, I dragged them early morning, 5 o'clock. We started cooking from 5 o'clock today, and because of that wonderful ragi roti. So I'm telling them this is like an apprenticeship now. So if we get, if we can cook for 60 people, then we can run a restaurant, you know. So I mean, we are not experimenting with the food with you all, but experimenting with the quantity with you all. So there's a big challenge for you how much you're going to empty, because we are short of 20 rotis. And so that's the story. And especially the food important aspect where I always suggest, and people can't demand from us, only they have to eat what we serve. So that's even with the customers, when we're selling greens and all, we don't grow palaks and exclusively and all that. They should buy what we are growing. That's the theme. So they understood what is this mixed green, what is this berkesopu. There's a Kannada word called berkesopu. It's like mix of women go and they take in the pallu, they put everything, whatever the knowledge is about. Mostly medicinal, but we don't see it as medicinal. We see it as food. So there's a difference between, I keep asking this question always, when does your food becomes medicine? Or when does your medicine becomes food? So this is where actually our lines are. So they say, oh, if we eat moringa, you know, something will happen. You know, so until something happens to us, we'll not eat moringa. You know, so we have come to that stage. So whereas women in the village, because I'm a single parent, I know the pain of women, like to bring up children and keep them healthy in all seasons in Bangalore weather. So they have this power. They have tools in their hand. They have the knowledge in there. They have kind of a so-called toolkit in their hand. So beta, egg, kalo, beta, egg, you know, they keep on like insisting on eating, so that because they are aware of that, what happens in future, they have to run around too much. They'll not have time even to take them to a doctor, for example, if they're working people and farmers, you know, for example. So that's why they're so aggressively feeding people, like children, family members, with the right food. Because they know the pain. Husband, 2 children, 3 children, taking them to doctors, one after other. Not have. So that's why that knowledge, that power is they have. It's like a wand, magic wand. So we are working on that, and today we feed that so-called forage green, but it's kindly off-season now because it's almost winter now. So we have both cultivated greens and forage greens in the curry. Otherwise, we have a ragi roti, which is like millet-based bread. And then we have ashgard alwa, which is called kashi alwa. Ashgard is also from our farm. So 98% of the ingredients are from our farm, except for onions and garlic, which we don't grow, because we don't grow any hybrids. So that's the only thing. And yeah, then we have papad, rice papad, and what else? What was it? Yeah. Rice, there are 2 types of rice we have cooked. One is curd rice made from Rajmudi rice, which is a Mysore specialty. Once upon a time, Maharajas, the kings of Mysore, used to patent it and eat them. That's why they have this Rajmudi. Like they were offering this rice to Maharaja, the smudi, you know, so that's why it's called Rajmudi. So we have a curd rice from it, and then we have brown rice, which is like a native basmati rice, and something called Siddha Sanna rice from Mysore. So we sell this and we cook only from these items. So it's a knowledge, what you're eating is knowledge today. Thank you.